Hey, I'm Sam, and I'm in the same spot that I made the last video, and I really intended to do a part 2 for that video on the same day, but life kind of flowed onwards, and the moment was gone. So I tried again yesterday, and again couldn't quite get to what it was I wanted to say, because my thoughts have been consumed by other things. And so it's early in the morning, and I woke up about half an hour ago, had a coffee, and here I am. So I'm going to talk about some things in this video that are becoming a reality for me, and they're going to sound crazy to some people, and to others they may make perfect sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know that glacier, that iceberg of grief inside, it does melt. And you know, the shame that I lived with for my whole life was the mask for grief, really. It's easier to blame yourself and feel shame for who you are than it is to actually feel that grief and heartbreak, that there is actually nothing wrong with you. And if there's nothing wrong with you, then the wounding that you experienced was at the hands, very probably, of the people that you were hardwired to love. And that truth is devastating, because you've made excuses for them for your whole life. And you know, it's a strange thing, really, to see clearly, because if you're making excuses and telling stories that it was your fault and there's something wrong with you, and you feel shame for that and self-hate, not only do you stop yourself from grieving, you also stop yourself from forgiving. And you know, forgiveness is just a naturally emerging you know, part of the healing process. You don't have to force it. You don't have to force it. It just comes, and that's objectivity. That's maturity. Doesn't mean that anyone's absolved from wrongdoing, but it means that you are, you know, maturing into presence. So as that iceberg of grief melts, and after each episode of intense grief, I shed a few tears in the last video, after each episode of intense grief, those waters become still. They become still. There's a spaciousness inside, and on the surface of those waters is reflected, truthfully, in intimate detail, the world. Thomas Merton has helped me a lot, his writings, and when he joined the monastic order that he was a part of, he said that he wanted to lose himself in the secret of God's face. What does that even mean? But I think I understand it now, because it's a secret we keep from ourselves. God's presence isn't a secret, but it's a secret that we hold away from our consciousness, because we want to be an individual. We want to give ourselves this false belief, because we need it as a necessity to survive trauma. And the false belief is that we are fully autonomous. We have the power to fix ourselves and to survive in a harsh world and get what we want and what we need. And we have to believe that, otherwise we can't survive. And so we hold the secret of God's presence away from us. But yesterday, in the stillness of those calm waters, reflecting, so much truth. I think I felt also the reflection of God's face. And I saw clearly there is a secret I've been keeping from myself. That, you know, we think we're going to lose our individuality if we surrender to a higher power. If we accept that we need we need each other. We need relationship, and we need a relationship with the source of our being as well. I'm comfortable calling that God. You know, again, in the writings of Thomas Merton, in his diaries, I was so surprised when I found this, when I came across this passage, and I heard it in a talk by James Finley, who was a novice of Thomas Merton's, and he read from Thomas Merton's diary, and then I bought the diaries. It's called The Intimate Merton. It's an edited version of his diaries, and in it he says that, you know, his greatest ambition is to just accept himself, because even he knew, this towering figure, this modern mystic, even he knew that if he couldn't accept himself as he is, the butterfly with tattered wings, flawed and frail, if he couldn't accept himself, he was never going to be able to move past himself, because we're trapped in the microcosm of our own self-centeredness, always looking at what we don't want to accept, always looking at what we reject, what we feel shame for, what we hate ourselves for, masking the grief. So your task, if you're watching these videos, then you are a mystic. You are a mystic. A mystic seeks to know reality as intimately and fully as possible, not with intellect, not with problem-solving mind, which is where we get stuck, but with their whole being. And to know reality is to come closer to God. To experience reality as intimately and fully as possible is to feel the presence of God. How do we do that? We become human. We accept our humanity. We accept our humanity as fully and completely and with as much forgiveness as possible. To become more than human, we must accept, you know, our frailties, our humanity. Everything that you don't want to accept is really probably your greatest teacher. If you can't accept yourself, then you're refusing life. If you refuse your humanity, you're refusing all the invitations into humility and forgiveness. Can you get past yourself? Can you get past yourself? And allow yourself to truly, truly be found, to truly, truly be discovered. You're discovering yourself. So we accept all the things we think we know and the things that come up when we're no longer resisting, because when you stop resisting, when you stop refusing, you see more clearly. And then you see more and more things that you must accept and must forgive. So there's a world waiting outside the boundary of what you're refusing. All the things that you're trying to sort out and fix in the illusion of your own power. So in the absence of that incessant inner dialogue, there is stillness. There is a placid calm mirror surface of a lake inside. On the surface, the presence of God, the presence of the world, it can be clearly seen. And that lake is inside you. And I said this so many times in my videos. I say things over and over and over again because I speak intuitively. I don't really think about what I'm going to say. And over time, things I've said in videos like 2 years ago just become clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And I said so many times that you don't have a story. There is no story that really describes who you are and what you are. The story is the thing that we hold on to as a way of understanding who we became. It is reductive. And it might explain the idea of who you think you are, but it doesn't explain who you really are, because you don't know who you really are. So can you allow yourself to step into the unknown and to let go of the story that you're trying to write a happy ending to? There's no need for that. There's no need for that. So gradually we have to just... and that's what I'm doing on the channel, and that's why there's so much repetition and, the periods of grief and pain and then freedom and peace. Because I'm gradually letting go. I'm gradually coming to the realization of my own freedom. And it's always been there. And it is for you. But we hold the pain because it feels the most real thing about us, because it's been the essence of what's driven us to be a person. And around that pain, around the trauma of childhood, are constructed all the coping methods and the stories and the mechanisms for control and manipulation and relationship. But as you heal, you will see how small all of that is, and how vast everything outside you really is, outside the idea of you. So, embrace your mystical nature. Embrace your mystical nature. To know reality, you have to disappear. To hear, to see, to feel. As St. Augustine said, to know truth, we must be truth. I'm certainly not there yet. That's why I feel pain after every single video, because I'm telling stories. I'm telling stories about life. I'm telling stories about my experience. And I know that. The stories are as accurate and truthful as I can tell them, but they're just stories. I see it. I see it in my own life, and I see it in conversations I have with people, that we are impossibly trapped. Impossibly trapped. And people are in so much pain, agony. And it's because we believe ourselves to be something that we're not. And we're holding on to the narrative of our experience that defines us, and we hold it like it's a fucking treasure. But there is a greater treasure waiting for you. Okay, that's it. You know where I am if you want to talk. And if you'd like to donate, it's the only way I monetize the channel, so donations are very welcome. Thank you to everyone that does donate. Peace. Peace. The acceptance of our humanity to become more than human. All those things that you hate about yourself, all those frailties, those tattered wings, include them, love them, forgive them. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go home and have another coffee. I'll see you soon.